All right, this is my first official try at doing an informational Periscope Live. And I started thinking about what would people really want to know the most. And probably the most common question that I get are different ways that we can use menus that would be effective. And usually when I start talking about it, people will say, hey, I never thought about doing that. So I chose today to talk about using menus for enrichment, mainly because that's the most common way that most people start using menus. And when you use them for enrichment, most people will, or most teachers, not just people, but teachers specifically, will design their menu around a final culminating product. And they may choose a menu. I just picked one. This is a tic-tac-toe menu. But they may choose a menu and say, what I need to make sure that I have set up is that at the beginning of the unit, I'll determine all of the information we're going to cover. I'll design a menu that has all of that information, and then I'll have them work on their menu, say, the last 2 days of the unit. One of the issues with doing this is you're actually missing an opportunity to build excitement and meaningful engagement into what you're doing during the unit. For example, if instead of waiting to give the menu till the end, if you give it on the very first day of the unit, you might find that your students respond a little bit differently. For example, the way that it might look is on the first day of the unit, before any instruction has taken place, as the students walk into the classroom, each child receives a copy of their menu. I know they don't have any instruction, and a lot of them are wondering, and they're kind of looking at it going, I'm not too sure about this. So what you'll do is you take about the first 10 minutes of class, you go over the different options, and you build interest in what's going on. You'll notice that, let's say that the children haven't done anything with measurement, but one of our activities here is they get to create a worksheet in which they get to estimate measurement. So, estimate temperature. Here they're going to be creating a children's book. Here they're actually going to be doing a specific lab where they get to measure it. So what I would do is each child gets a copy of the menu, and then I go through and I build excitement for each. You'll see that there's a box beside the menu. There's actually a box or a way that you can indicate interest on any of the menu formats. And as I go through and talk about them, I'll tell them, hey guys, let's say that you want to create a worksheet that your classmates could use. Place a check mark in this box if that sounds interesting. Let's say that this one, they're going to be looking at the national charts in the newspaper. They're going to be creating some graphs. So I might say, hey, if you want to do something with graphing and using the newspaper, place a check mark here. It might be interesting to you. This one, they get to create their own lesson. And a lot of the students really enjoy doing that. So what I might say instead for this one is, if you want to get up in front and you want to do a lesson for the classmates, place a check mark here. You might be interested in that. And I would go over all of the different options and build interest based on the different information or the different types of products that they might want to create. One of the things that will help you if you do use menus for enrichment and you do want to introduce them like this at the beginning of the unit is do make sure that you have the product guidelines available. These are just some that are straight out of the front of my books, but these accompany these menus so that if a child does pick, let's say that one of the activities on this menu was for acrostics, creating an acrostic. This product guideline goes through and tells the children, okay, it has to be at least this size, it has to be neatly written, etc. And this will support you as you go through and talk about the different products. This one asks them to create a pamphlet to help children do this, and here's the information for pamphlet, so that you don't have to constantly be re-explaining how to go through and create that particular product. So between the two of these, you give your menu on the very first day of class, and you have product guidelines available the very first day. That way, they have the support that they need as far as knowing how to create the product. After you've gone over the menu, chances are there's going to be at least one or two children who are going to look at you and say, okay, this is all well and good. I want to do the pamphlet thing down here. I place a check mark. However, I don't know anything about this information as far as estimating temperature or how I measure it. That's the position that you really want the students to be in. The reason why you would like them to be in this position is now as you go through the information in the unit, they have an immediate use for the different facts and the different types of information that you're providing. I think I just said information like 3 times in one sentence, but oh well. Like I said, it's the first time, you never know. But the idea being that this way, when they come in, like the very next thing we do is usually vocabulary. So I might tell my students, all right, all of the vocabulary that we're going to be talking about now is going to be directly useful to you because you're going to use it when you create these different products that you're interested in. So they have an immediate use for everything that you're talking about. The benefit of this is that when you get ready to have students work on things or ask questions or talk about new information, they already have a goal in mind. Many of the times our students are simply going through the information because this is school and that's what we do. They wait till the very end, all of the when am I ever going to use this, how am I ever going to do anything with that, those types of questions. Now, by the way, if you're a middle school teacher, I'm not promising you that this will completely fix it, but it will help them see that the information that they're receiving in class has immediate application based on what it is that they've selected on a menu. So teachers usually, when they choose to start menus, do choose to use them first for enrichment, which is a perfect way. It does not impact the way that you do your instruction. It doesn't change the way that you are going to organize your lessons, simply because the children will work on the menus whenever they have time. However, it will change the attitudes that the children have during the unit if you provide the menu at the very beginning of instruction. So I hope that this has helped a little bit, and if anybody has any questions or thoughts about using menus for enrichment, please feel free to drop me a question or let me know, and I'm happy to answer that. Hey babe, my husband just signed in and he has now said he's talking to me on the chat. I know nobody else can see it, but he's very supportive of everything that I do. So I appreciate that you have signed in to hear me talk about menus. Silly.